kids really stepped up their game and played well. So based on where we were with Falk and Hainsey and Slavin and Pesci and Hannafin, we felt it probably wasn't the right fit for us in that 5-6 pair, and so we decided to buy him out. And we have Murphy that has some experience, possibly filling in there as well.
Were you surprised by some of the terms given after that? So contracts, big contracts?
I'm always surprised by July 1st, yeah. It's, I think I've said since I took the job, it's, for me, it's one of the more dangerous days, July 1. And, obviously the teams felt that the terms and the money was right, and the players, so you can't blame them for getting it. So, just everybody has their own opinion on it. Mine's probably a little bit different.
Did you have offers out, comparable offers out to anyone who signed elsewhere today?
Not in those high-end guys. No. For me, when I look at giving terms to somebody, that's in that range, my concern is, we said from day one, we want to build this thing right from the ground up. We potentially have Slavin and Pesci and Hannafin and Lindholm for sure coming off of either entry-level deals or bridge deals in 2 years. We have Teravainen in the year after that. Depending on what we do with Victor Rask on talks for whether it's a 2-year deal or longer, he could be in that group as well. So my real concern is getting into a long-term deal with somebody that prohibits me from signing one of those younger guys and moving forward. So it really wasn't a consideration for me at this point, based on where we're at.
I know you said you had contact with Eric Staal during the week. Did you today with him, or is?
I did not know.
I feel like your lineup is set up front, or is there potentially another move to be made there?
Well, I think we have some pieces there that are ready to go. I think we have a couple spots that are open, which we feel we have some young kids that are potentially ready to earn them, and it's up to them to come in and grab them. I think we would, as I said earlier, continue to look at the D situation. If there's anything we can do there differently, we'll look at doing that. But that's kind of where we're at right now.
Stempiak signing, a little bit about his versatility, having another guy that you can kind of play in different positions.
It is. I mean, he had 19 goals last year, 16 at even strength. And guys we looked at in conversations with our coaches, this is a guy that we felt fitted to kind of style we're playing and what we're looking to. Some veteran leadership. All reports are a real good guy. Everybody's played for a lot of teams, but everybody speaks extremely highly of this guy. Ricky Olczyk's happy because he's an Ivy Leaguer, so that's, we think he's a good addition into our locker room and on our team.
He's 33, but he's been pretty durable throughout his career. Was that part of it too?
He has been, and doing some background on him. He had changed his workout habits before last year, doing a little less on the weight and a little more on the cardio. To me, that's having been there, done that. I think that's something that's important as you get older to increase your cardio and not so much heavy on the weights. So maybe that's part of why he changed. And I know who he's training with, and the guy he's training with is a very good trainer. So we expect him to continue to work hard and be productive for us.
As much as if you look at the roster, there's a lot of youth, there's a lot of some experience there, but there's a move to a faster game, younger, college style, European style. There's that little flavors. I'm seeing those little bits coming. Is that intentional there as it's going, or kind of as it's fallen from what you've seen, what you want?
Yeah, I wouldn't say intentional on the European flavor. I think we're trying to put the best team on the ice possible. I don't think in any of the moves we did from the end of the season to now that we've gotten slower. I think we've actually gotten faster as a hockey team. So in addition to the skill and the size, I think we've added speed to our lineup as well. So we're pleased with sort of the way things have fallen over the last few months.
And with taking all 9 picks, and the system is filling up now. Are there other GMs that are at least trying to pick away some things, or throwing you opportunities a bit more than maybe might have been offered 2 or 3 years ago?
Well, I think when we look back 2 years ago, part of our concern was any kind of injury during the season. We felt we didn't have the depth of the organization maybe to overcome that. I think we're finally getting to the point where we feel a lot more comfortable with our depth. throughout the organization, and you know, certainly with the different picks we've accumulated and the guys we've been able to draft over the last few years, I think we've got a lot more prospects in the pipeline as well too. So that's going to allow us some flexibility. You know, sure guys are in conversation with them. They're certainly aware of what we have in our system and like what we have, and that gives us more flexibility to do those deals we're talking about moving forward.
Can you talk a little bit about Curtis Joseph coming on as goaltending consultants? David
Yeah.
Marcoux stayed with the team as well.
Yeah, no, David stays as our goalie coach here. Curtis is going to be, we hired him as a consultant. He's going to go into Charlotte roughly 7 to 10 days a month to work with our young goaltenders down there. And then he'll be available, you know, with our 3-4 goalie prospects that we have across the country. They'll spend some time with them as well. And then if we have any kind of special assignments, that way David can focus on our guys and not have to be in multiple places. A lot of other teams have you know, goaltender here and goaltender down in the minor league. So this is our first sort of serious foray into that. And Curtis is, in my mind, the perfect guy for it. A ton of experience, real quality individual. You know, been there, done that, so he can add a lot of experience, especially to our young guys in the system like Delkovich and Altshuler. So we're excited to have him on board. You know, we also did some other things down there with video coach and full-time strength coach. So we think those are steps to help as we accumulate the draft picks and draft these young players. This helps that process of making sure that we're giving them every opportunity to be successful as well.
Are you pretty close to Bill Peters on a contract extension for him, or what is this?
We're talking at this point, and we're scheduled to have some more talks here next week. So I would say it's amicable and progressing at this point.
How about the Victor Rask as far as bids?
Same thing. We are in discussions with Victor, and I think part of the issue is his agent had a lot of the guys that signed big contracts today, so I think he was a little busy. But hopefully now that he has that behind him, we can focus. Or he has more time to focus on Victor and get something done.
Do you plan to go into the AHL season with the two guys you mentioned as your two goalies in Charlotte?
Yeah, I think if we have to go that way, we're very comfortable with it. We don't have a problem with it. If there's something that presents itself that we think makes sense to add a third guy with a little bit more depth, we wouldn't be opposed to doing that at this point either.
Ron, with the newest additions you've added to this nucleus, what are you most looking forward to with this group in the next season?
Well, I think when we look back at last year, we felt that in a lot of the close games we fell just short, and where we fell short was on the power play, whether it was, you know, not having two units that were hot at the same time, whether it was in the 3-on-3 where we felt like, you know, we couldn't get over the hump maybe with our skill set, or in the shootout, which cost us some points. We feel now we've added that skill to the mix. You know, a lot of times you talk to people in the area, the fans and stuff, they say want to get bigger. You know, I think we've added that dimension as well, and in doing all that, like I said, it's important. We think the game is becoming a speed game. We don't think we've slowed our team down. In fact, we think we've made it quicker. So all those parts for me are exciting, you know, as we move forward.
Eric Stahl said on signing with Minnesota, he didn't think that this team style was a good fit for him in retrospect. Do you think that's accurate?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised, I would guess, by that. We play a pretty up-tempo style, and I would think that as a player you would want to play an up-tempo style, and I think as a forward, you would be really happy. I know I would, if I would still be playing, be really happy to be playing in front of those young D that can skate and move the puck. So, you know, I'm not sure why he would say that, but I don't. If I was still playing, I'd be happy to play in front of that backhand and style we play.
How does Stahlberg fit in? Do you see him as a fourth liner or third liner?
I think he has the flexibility to move up and down. I think, you know, we got to be careful on where Andre Nestershell is coming back into the season. Everything's progressing extremely well, so we expect him to be 100% healthy. But you know, that's obviously something we're aware of. So Victor, I think, has the flexibility to move up and down. I think the beauty of some of the things we've done is it now allows Bill Peters to move around his forwards in different scenarios. If he wants to add a size guy with some skills guys, he can do that. If he wants to put three big boys together and run that, he can do that. Coming off of, I think we've had some struggle in the past too, coming off of power play and stuff, getting back to our line combinations. I think now we have the flexibility to put together a line and come back after a power play and get our lines back together quicker in our rotation. So, you know, conversations that we had postseason to now, these are some things we were trying to address, and we think we've done them.
Going back to the question regarding Eric's comments, and is it with younger players now, the hockey IQ, although they may not have the experience level, but catch on quicker to the concepts that maybe the style that Bill presents and system that the team has been playing is more amenable with these signings that people see, and it's these types of players that can adjust to more of the teaching and the coaching of the game, but are ready to jump right into it to you know, implement.
Yeah, no, I think for me, if you ask me, you know, I love hockey players with high hockey IQ. I think that they're the easiest to sort of teach and adjust. But I think when you look at today's game, I think the coaches have done such a good job of you know, almost to a point of programming their systems into the players, and positions you have to stand in and routes you have to take, and so it takes some of that thinking and maybe out of it, but where that comes back into play is on the creative aspect, on, you know, trying to create offense and reading plays and reaction. In a league that's so hard to score goals, having that hockey IQ and ability to sort of maybe think outside the box offensively, I think is important.
The other guys that had some injuries at the end of last season, how are they coming about?
Which ones?
Oh, Rask had
Yeah,
his-
everybody else is, like Lindham's minor thing. Rask, everything should be fine as we roll into camp, so no issues with any of those.
and Justin too.
Yeah, Justin, Bill talked to him a week or so ago, and I think our trainers talked to him last week, and everything's fine with him as well. So.
With the opening on D from the Wisniewski buyout, is there maybe a greater potential that we see someone like a Hayden Fleury crack the lineup in the fall?
But you never say never, you know, based on how our young guys played last year. You know, I think we're as we talked earlier about some of the depth, I think we're in a position now where we can, you know, maybe instead of pulling guys up, you know, when they may be ready, may not be ready, we have the luxury of maybe leaving guys down there, and in my terms, kind of becoming overripe, so that when they come in, they're more than happy to, or more than ready to go. So, you know, there's guys down there that we feel, you know, are close. Whether they crack the lineup on a full-time basis or not is waits to be seen. But we certainly feel comfortable they can give us games, and we'll see how things progress over the next few months.
You mentioned Ryan Murphy earlier. You've seen all these other guys kind of go past him and in the lineup. Is this the last chance for him, this training camp this season here?
Well, you know, I think Murph has kind of realized in the last two seasons. You know, I think with a lot of kids in general, you're very skilled. Things come easy to you. It takes a while to understand that, you know, how hard you really have to work. I think last summer was the first summer he really started to bear down and put that time in. I'm assuming he's doing the exact same thing this summer, and then, you know, with that, hopefully comes a maturity on the ice that he's kind of gained a little bit off and on here the last few years, that he can take that next step. But, you know, certainly I think he would love to take that next step, and we'd love to see him take that step as well.
You get Alexei Sorela signed to an entry-level deal this summer. Next season, if he's unable to crack the lineup, will he return to Finland or will he go down to Charlotte?
Per the CBA, we have to, because it was drafted the first time, we have to offer him back to his team in Finland first, and then if they want him, he goes there. If not, then we have the flexibility to put him in Charlotte at that point.
Whether intentional or by circumstance, more finished players, and you know, since there aren't as many older veteran players, let's say, that can, you know, when so many younger players and how they kind of hang together, does that help? When you have some more European players, similar countries, and you know, adjust, being so young and so many different aspects that they're trying to get used to in the game in the NHL.
Yeah, and you know, it's not really by design. It's sort of when you look, you know, Finland's had pretty good success the last couple of years, and you know, they won the gold medal in the World Juniors this year, and the U18s, and finished, or the U20s, U18s, and then finished second in the World Championship. So, you know, I joked when we signed Teravainen, or traded for Teravainen, that, you know, he's going to have to potentially be a mentor for a young guy in Aho. You know, Aho, he's, you know, Teravainen doesn't turn 22 until September. So, but you know, Sorella, we think is a real good prospect, a guy that can slide up and down your lineup. We drafted Kukanen this year, another guy that we think has big upside potential moving forward. So it's not by design. It's more just taking the best player in the situation we have. You know, I will point out that there was a time between the trade deadline last year and the end of the seasons in the hotel lobby, and our guys were going up for dinner. There was 16 guys that were going out for dinner together. Maybe that's because they're young and they all kind of get along or not, but in all my years in playing the game, you don't normally see 16 guys going for dinner together. So that, to me, is a good sign that our guys are tight in that locker room and moving in the right direction in that leadership.
You picked up that tape.
I don't know, I wasn't invited, but.
Ron, when you got Eddie Lack last year, he was coming off a good season in Vancouver, had a .920 save percentage, and he seemed to take a step back during the season, and now has a .901 save percentage. What do you attribute to that drop off in play?
Yeah, I don't know if it was the change of scenery. We really struggled, both goaltenders did the first 2 months. I know in early December, Bill Peters had a meeting with you know, the goalies and David Marcoux and trying to figure out what it was that we could kind of change. You know, and you go back from the middle part of December after that meeting to the end of the year, both those guys were dramatically better. So you know, I don't know if maybe it was a little bit less games for Eddie, you know, than he normally played. The year before he had close to 40 when he had the .920. So you know, that's something we've talked about and looked at. You know, certainly in the back-to-back situations, I think you know, we'll lean heavily more on both goaltenders in those situations. But maybe it was just getting comfortable in the surroundings with what we're doing. But certainly, we still think he's a good goaltender, and you know, we believe he's more of the guy that finished the season than started that way.
Any discussions with Riley Nash about sticking with the organization this summer?
We haven't at this point. No.
With those guys at this point, with the guys you signed today and the roles that they filled, is it pretty much kind of moving on to this next group as opposed to the guys who went to UFA?
Yeah, I know Gerby, as we know, the community sign. But yeah, for us, you know, we look at those guys that we didn't re-sign. These guys have more or less filled those positions, and with our young guys, you know, we kept the spots for them to try and come in here.
Okay, thanks, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.